How you doing? I'm gonna show you a couple things. Look at that. This slammer there in comments, Daryl, his boys, they're young fellers, started mowing grass, go make a few bucks. Well, this was one of their t-shirts. They wanted me to have one, and I said, well, if you send me one, then I'm gonna wear it. So I'll show you, tell you what. Now this is really funny because one of them is a blonde and one is a brunette. So this is where that came from. Yeah, look at that back of that. Isn't that nice? Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Got something else I'm going to show you. Rusty. Thanks, buddy. Didn't even dream you'd send me some. I was trying to look it up, actually. Now I know what I'm looking for. Pretty cool, huh? Rusty Hill. If his last name was Nail, that'd been funny. This stuff you can add in 2 or 4-stroke motors, and I read up on this. It is truly a conditioner, a metal conditioner, and it reduces friction. It embeds itself. I see how it works. We had a product years ago called Conklin that it did something like that, but you had to put it in every time. This, I think so too. But it says something like in your mix oil, they put 1 ounce of this to a quart of mix oil for 32-to-1. You know, that'd be pretty good. But I tell you what, if that's what keeps an engine alive, I'm gonna run it. We're gonna test this out soon. Got a couple surprises for you. Been working on saws all morning. I want to take a few breaks. I am building an HD12 wall barrel for alcohol for a 372. I'm going to build an alcohol saw. But you guys know that. You know what I'm doing. We're going to build an internal blower. We're going to do a lot of creative stuff. We are going to do this one step at a time. First thing we're going to do is get the compression up enough and know where the target is where it runs real good on alcohol. We're going to make it run good on alcohol first before we do anything else. Before we even port it, I'm going to tell you that right now. Because the numbers may be a little different. I got to get a feel for that. What will probably end up happening is we'll end up with nitromethane. And that's the way that's going to go. Now, I'm going to scrap a few cylinders. This product isn't for the faint of heart. It just isn't. The project, new word. What I've done, this ain't dry yet, but I am taking, I think it's dry enough I can show you what I'm doing. Got this neat little project right here, this JB Weld Extreme Heat. I bought that. I have a targeted compression rate that I have to have. I have to meet it to be able to accomplish this. So what we're doing, we basically just filled what I think would be about right for proper combustion of alcohol. It has to have more compression. It should have a lot more than normal. This is going to be fairly easy to pocket in. I'm going to CC the darn thing. That's going to be quite easy. I'm going to take a little piece of Lexan, put a hole in it. Seal it up with a little bit of petroleum jelly, and then use a burris bulb and fill it. We already know what the combustion chambers are normally. I'll know by what the CCs through the burris bulb is, if I'm where I think I need to be. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because I have to have good compression. And so we're going to do that first. I think I could probably run that within there. That's real high heat stuff for short little periods to test this. But I know what's going to happen. We're going to have to probably build ahead. And when that's off, we'll go ahead and TIG welder up with some aluminum. I don't have a TIG. I got a buddy's shop he lets me use. And we'll go that route if that's what we do is build ahead. I can't imagine trying to weld down that little hole with any success. I know as a finished product, I'd like a center plug in it. That's what I want to do. So we're getting the compression up. We got a crank in the shop being machined. I'm not going to put that in first. I'm going to put in another crank, a stock crank, because I want to run it on alcohol and get. We have a couple other things we're going to try with it. When that machine, the other crank comes from the machine shop, we're going to throw it in there, go to another level of compression so that we can put that tube in where we wanted to and shoot it straight into the case to feed them fins that we're cutting in the crank. If you haven't seen that video, go back a few videos. You'll see what I'm doing to one of these. But I'm going to tell you something right now. It's not for the faint of heart. I'm redrilling my primary jet. I got my low jet, which is the little one, done, and I'm redrilling my my high jet. It feels like that I'll get plenty of fuel if I get through these jets. Now I'm doing this with wire size drills. I'll share with you what size. I know it takes 5/8 more alcohol in the saw than it does gasoline. So you got to don't go 5/8 bigger, because as you get bigger, that's exponential. For example, the high jet, it was, I checked it with a wire size drill. It was a 73. It was between 72 and 73, but 73 slid in there nice. And I'm taking it down to 63 on wire size. And when you look at them, that's quite a difference. But I think that's just about right. That's what I think. But if you do this, I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'll turn this down. Well, loosen this booger up a minute. You do that. These are tiny. And, well, here's a pen. That lets you know. They're tiny little buggers. And it takes a few minutes. And I'll tell you what works good, a 50-50 mix of like dish soap and water for drilling. Do not power these up. You do these by hand. I don't care if it takes you 4 hours. I think I'm through. Almost through. Well, how'd you make out?
We got her.
You got her. Got another project for me. We're getting there. I should have showed you this, what it looked like before we started. Now, probably, I'm going to have to knock these Welch plugs out and kind of go the whole route on this. I'll know how much is the right amount. If this is one when I get it perfected, Buck and Billy wants to run, I'll send him one. If he don't, then I won't. But I got an idea Crazy Booger will run it once he sees it's safe. No, it's not going to be a real safe. Well, I tell you what, I'm at the edge of breaking through. I can feel it. Right at that edge. Okay, this is going to take me just a bit longer to do this. Hey, I've been weighing these pistons on that gram scale we got the other day. Found some shocking results. I weighed a 52 millimeter for 272 with the pop-up and the carbon. And then I weighed an OEM 372 piston. Now, believe it or not, that 272 piston, because of the windows and the sides, was 8 grams lighter than a factory 372. Well, to run these 272s in a big bore kit, 372, you gotta mill that top of them off, because the 372 being a longer stroke than the 272, the piston pin's in a different position. Well, by the time you got done milling and cleaning things up, you don't care if that window's in there in a 372. Boy, you'd have really quite a high compression piston that was much lighter. Now we're going to play some tricks on this saw too. I have coming here next week a waistcoat for 2mm big bore for 372 and piston. And I got to order probably 3 or 4 more of these cylinders because I'm going to scrap fuel cylinders. I can tell you that right now. We're going to, you don't get lucky first shot. Even you can do your math all you want, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be, boy, I tell you, I'm almost through that hole. It's nice to step drill these, but don't go just one drill bit. Go about 3 or 4 wire sizes because it'll catch that corner and it'll break it. These break so easy. I'm into this video a little longer than I intended for this, but we're getting some good visiting in. I like talking with you guys. I love your comments because whatever I say here, you respond to it. That's my way of saying, hey, good for you, you know. I love your comments, especially lately. I thought a couple months ago they were just kick butt. And you guys are intelligent. You know what you're talking about. You know what you're doing. A lot of you. Those of you that's learning, come right out and say, hey, I'm learning much. Good job. And then some of you guys are really, really seriously know a lot about this stuff. And I'm so proud of you. Okay, I want to show you something right here real quick. We haven't run this yet because it's been too freaking hot for me to wanna. But I'll tell you what we did do. Yeah, we did it. These will come off. We don't like them. I got another sticker that says 100cc. Well, it says 99cc Magnum. It goes right here on the air cleaner. I just got to backlight it. But I think that's pretty stuff. I'm sorry. Best thing if you ever do these flames and you say, well, we got gaps and stuff. Eliminate. Don't even worry about them gaps. Work around them. You know, you got a seam from the air cleaner right there, and you got the gap between the air cleaner and the front of the housing of the saw there. Just don't worry about it. But that broke that saw up nice, didn't it? Yeah, it did. I was pretty proud of that. Let's see where this stuff's at. Because I know one thing. Oh, that's going to be a bit. At some point, I got to screw the spark plug out. When that's hard, when it's stiff, but not solid, then you need to go in there and just take a razor knife and just clean just a little bit there. It'll save me a whole lot of work later. Sure will. Get back to working on this. I was going to start with this saw with an X-Torque carburetor. But I'll tell you what, I ran alcohol before in a drag car, a small block, and I had an 850 double pumper on it with gas, and that worked swimmingly. But my best luck was with a 750 double pumper. Both of them, you know, race prep carburetors. They weren't out of the box. And I know with that running better with slightly smaller, I think I'm going to kind of go with my gut on this and say, well, let's try the factory carburetor. Just get it opened up. Boy, I tell you, this is tedious. It's like watching grass grow. But I know better than to push very hard. You got to push hard enough. Try to keep it aligned. Don't do this unless you got your compression up real good and you're pretty confident. If you even have a question, you go to somebody that knows alcohol and have them kind of help you if you can. I'm a wing nut that's willing to try it. We blow this out. And okay, this is the high jet. That's, well, I'm not sealing that up very good. I think that's going to be enough, don't you? Okay, we're in good shape. We're in good shape. Yeah, I think we're about right. I got a pretty good feel for how much I need for fuel through that carburetor. Now remember, sneak up on things like this. Don't just rear into it because it'll haunt you. There's one thing I don't want to do is wreck a lot of carbs. I really don't. Which I really could. I know the numbers for the 394s and the 66 mags from back in the day. I know the numbers for them carburetors. I used to build alcohol saws for local competitions. Like one of them they had was down at Cherry Springs, down in PA. You guys down there, you stump jumpers. Hey, stump jumper, huh? You remember them classes? Stock saw? There wasn't nothing stock about none of them stock saws way back. And I'll tell you what, when I first time I seen that and they lit them fire, they had a strange mix. There was only a couple guys running alcohol. But boy, I could tell, you ain't fooling me none. I know what that smells like. I was just dumbfounded. I says, are you serious? Are you really serious? So another guy says, oh man, would you please build me how to do that? I said, well, geez, I says, I know the principle. I never built one. So we took 66 mag, built them an alcohol carburetor. We jacked the compression. That didn't take a lot, but to do it on them, they go real fast. Compression goes up. And real fast, like this Blue Thunder with a flame job on it. I had to try hard to keep it down to where you can start it. Old Dave, not many is going to start that. I think Eric Nelson can. I know I can. But I got to be in the mood, you know? But he changed that alcohol carb out, running saw all week logging on that 66 mag. And then he'd, whenever they had one of them shows, he'd put his alcohol carb and flush his fuel out, and away he'd go. And he won actually more times than not, but he's a pretty rugged lad. I think that he did just pull the darn thing right through the wood. But yeah, he turned that right up, scared me. I know how hard he had that turning. He had that turning about 15.5 at least, which I didn't feel real comfortable with that. But it had a stock piston. That's what was my problem. I wasn't worried about anything else, but that piston I was. I don't know if that's how I ever come apart on him. I'll have to get a hold of him. I'd like to get him down here on video. And you'd love to meet some of the guys that we had back then. They're rough and ready, boy. Really were. But this carburetor on this phase, I think, is good. I'm going to put the jets back in it. And I will get a kit for this. I think I got one right here in the drawer and put a kit in it. But for right now, what I'm going to do is just put my parts back together so I know where I'm at. We can reshape our needles, all kinds of stuff. I want you to know that. Yeah, there's all kinds of things you can do. I'll tell you what, I'm going to make you laugh. You know them old quadrajet carburetors? I ended up with one of them Caprice Classics. Big old two-door. It had a quadrajet on it. And yeah, I don't know if any of you were aware way back. Chevy had a marine intake that was cast iron. It was quite tall. Well, there was some drag racing going on at the strip, yeah. And it wasn't like super stock. It was stock. And they were running. That's just like them chainsaws. Back then, they was getting crazy. Well, I took that old Caprice Classic, and that thing had a 427 in it. That was a 68. And I put it in there. And that had big compression. Well, you had to run a quadrajet. That was on the Chevys. You had to run the Ford carburetor, whatever they were coming with, on the car. So I re-drilled one of them jets and done a couple changes, and I put a quadrajet on alcohol, so I did the same route too. Boy, I made one pass down through there in the time trials, and And it's like, dang, I was backpedaling on that. The guy at the starting line says, "Hey, son bitch," he says, "you gotta have full throttle run." So I tore right down through there. God, that thing was running good. I can't remember the time. It back then, that was when 12 seconds was a fast car. 11 seconds. It was probably right about 11s, which was pretty good for on the street. That's a lot of street cars like Roadrunners were like 14 seconds. A 383 Roadrunner run 14 and a half seconds. Yeah, that's all they did. GTOs were even worse. 66 GTO 389. Not the tri-power one, but the regular one. They were even worse. They were slower, yeah. One of the most iconic cars in today's world, and it was slower than a death trap. I've seen the Ford and Chevy pickups from back then go right out on the track and beat them muscle cars straight away. And I'll tell you why they did it. A lot of them had the gears. They had gear advantage. Just gone. Oh, God, them were good days. Them were good days. Nothing like it. You'll not see that in today's world. You won't. No, everything's so sophisticated and upbeat, and I don't understand. You pop the hood on these new cars and trucks. Yep, there's a motor there somewhere. Now you get me a Ford, Dodge, or Chevy from the 60s or 70s, roll in my driveway with one. The minute I hear it, I can probably tell you what it is. I can't tell you the body, but I can tell you what motor I'm hearing. And boy, you got my dang attention. A buddy of mine stopped with his 283 Rochester fuel injected 57 Chevy convertible. Yeah, all pure. Injectors still work good. And the car's got 49,000 miles on it. He stopped here just a bit ago. Not today, a few days ago. Man, I heard that running, I was like, God, that sounded like a 283 or 307. What the hell? Something. And then it sit there idling. He shut it off. That one got me. I only ever heard one of them run. My grandma had one of them. That's the only one I ever heard run. Hers was a convertible with Rochester fuel injection. I wish she'd have kept her car, because the next one she got after that, I inherited. It was a 67 Dart with a slant 6. Yep, that's what it was. And when I put that 440 in that sure changed the world. I still got that slant 6. Yep, yeah, I do. I don't know, it has 70,000 miles on it. I bagged it. I bagged some Chevy 6-cylinders, early ones, the red ones, non-integrated head, because I knew someday they'd be gone. Of course, I think I saved just about every big black Chevy around here that was ever built. I got just a lot of them. Someday I'll walk you through and show you what. We'll have to blow the dust off them. Honestly, some of them I've had over 40 years. They're a 427 that with the Rochester, the Holly 2 barrels, 3 of them on it, with the air cleaner. Got a bad rod in it. Guy pulled it out, and nobody wanted that motor. Nobody wanted it. So I mowed his lawn when I was 16 years old for the whole summer, just to have that old junk motor. Someday I'm owning the car that went in, because it's here, it's around here. And it'd be nice to put that, I was out with that. It'd be nice to put that back in that original car. The man who owns that car now, if he knew I had that motor, some of them motors, they're like my piggy bank. I want you to know that. There's always somebody out there to buy one. If there's none available, then you set the price your own self. You know how that goes. You watch how these old chainsaws go that we're farting with right now. We're taking it for granted. You watch. It won't be very long. Dirt bike's already done it. Like the CR 500s and the Makos, 490s, 500s, and the Kawasaki's, and the 490 frickin' 250 of anything in the 70s and 80s. Look at the price of them now. Look at it 2 years ago. Look at it what they were 5 years ago. They've unbelievable. I think what happens is people had them when they're young. When they get older, they get a few bucks. Say, well, I'd like to have one each. I thought dirt bikes were kind of a fun thing to collect. Not that I'm trying to, because I'm not. I just wanted a few, which I got more than a few. I got a few more than I need. I ain't none going nowhere. Everything I got, you jump right on and run. Everything, every bit of it. And I like to keep them that way. Okay, so here and there, we're going to be putting this little alcohol solid together. I'm trying to get that compression right where that we can actually run race gas or alcohol. That's where I'm trying to. I know what I need for numbers so that we can do either or. And I'd like to be able to jet it. Now, the thing is, when we're on race gas, we got to change carburetor. Alcohol's different. We're going to fire this one on alcohol. It's such clean burning. It's unbelievable. And the engine runs cooler. So I think more horsepower is okay. I think it would probably take, I'm going to guess, 2-3 minutes to drain a gas tank in a chainsaw on alcohol. 4 minutes, maybe. It won't take long. And some of the most alcohol, the fun alcohol for this particular project is, you know, them hobby shops. They sell fuel for them RC cars by the gallon or quart or whatever. Yeah, you want to mix about a gallon of that up a time. You know what that is, right? Yeah, I know a bunch of you know what that is. Perfect, huh? They already made it for me. I ain't got to sit there and calculate. Yes, sir. That's the fuel. Okay, that's it for this video. Goodbye.